Hi everyone, and welcome to my video where we will be going over what HTML attributes are and how to utilize them. So let's get started. So as a quick overview, all HTML elements can have attributes. So these attributes provide additional information to the browser as to how to render the element and what the element's behavior is like. The attributes are placed in the starting tag and come as a key value pair. So you can see right here, this is in the starting tag. This right here, this href is an attribute, and it comes as a key value pair. So here's a key, and then you see here this equals sign right here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Nope, can't zoom in with Visual Studio Code. But anyway, this is the key right here, and then this right here is the value in the quotation marks. So in my previous videos, you may have seen me utilizing attributes in links like this and in images. For the links, as I just showed, I have the href attribute in the A tag, which tells the browser what page to redirect to when that link is clicked. In the image tag, I have the source attribute, which tells it the file location for the image, and the alt attribute, which tells the browser what to show the user in case there is an issue with the image, and the width and the height attributes to signify how big or small the image should be. And notice that the value of these attributes, I put it in double quotes. So you can put them in single quotes, but the most popular way to do it is in double quotes. So it's important to also note that for the source attribute, you can have relative pathing, or you can have absolute URLs paths. So this is a relative path in comparison to where this file is. So let me pull up this file and then you guys will see. So this is the page right here that we're editing, and relative to where this page is, there's an images folder with an image in it. So here you can see that relative to where this index.html file is that we're editing, there's an images folder and then the smiley face. Now we can also use a absolute value, which will be something like this, right? And this will also show us the image. So here you can see that I have it pulled up and that the image loaded. So notice that if I misspell something in the pathing here, and then I refresh, it does make a difference. The pathing does make a difference. So if you're going to use absolute URLs, make sure that it's the correct URL. Otherwise, if it's on your own website, I would recommend to use relative URLs. So in Elements, you can also set the style attributes. The style attribute allows you to add different kinds of styles to your elements, such as like the color of the text, the background color of the element, the font type, the font size, font weight, such as like bolded or whatever. The height of the element, the width of the element. You can even make font sizes of headers bigger if you wanted, such as like an H1 tag, and giving it a font size. So let's go over that real quick. So here we have, you can see, let's do these first, and then we'll take a look at others. So here you have the list item of apples. So if I give this a style attribute, what I can do here is I can specify that I want the color of anything in this element, of all the content in this element, I want the color to be blue. And then I end that with a semicolon. So now let's go back to our page here, and I'm going to refresh. And you can see that the color of apples is now blue. Let's make that red so that it's a little easier to see. Save that, refresh. So you can see that the content of this list item is now red. So let's do the same thing with a background color. So we'll do background color, and you can see that with Visual Studio, it's automatically like giving me hints as to what I should type. And all I do is I just press tab when it gives me the hint. So there's a lot of colors here that I can use. And here you can see that there's the hex value for this color. So you could always search hex colors in Google, and there should be like a little color wheel that you can select, and then just make your color like that. But here, let's just pick, I want the background color to be, let's just change this to yellow green, and the color to blue. Hopefully people can see this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to refresh, and you can see that the background of this is now yellow-green, and the background color is blue. So here we can also set the font family. So font family, yeah. And here we can specify what we want. So let's do, I think it's Career New by default, so let's change it to this and save. Let's open up our browser, and I just refreshed, and you can see that the font of this has changed. So now let's change the font size so we can see that the font, the wording a little better. So we do that by specifying font size, and then we can specify like the pixels here. So let's do 24 pixels. Save, and then refresh. You can see that it became a little bigger. Now let's make it bold. So font weight, and here you can see that there's like a bunch of options, but I usually use bold. Save, go back here. You can see that it bolded it. Now let's set the height of the element within our style tag here. So again, we're still in our style tag. So let's set the height. Let's set it to 50 pixels. No, let's make it a little more dramatic. Let's do 100 pixels. And let's do the width. So 100 by 100. Again, I already showed you guys how to do this within an image. But the image, that width and the height are within an attribute, not within the style attribute. It's an attribute itself. But you can also set it within the style attribute, these specifications. So anyway, I saved. Let's go here and refresh. And you can see that the height of this element is now 100 by 100 pixels. Now let's say that you didn't like how big the header here is. Let's say you wanted it bigger. You wanted a bigger header for H1. And H1 is the biggest header that you can do. So, you know, what you can do here is you can specify the style, font size, and give it 100 pixels. Save it. And so right now it looks like this, but after we refresh, you know, it's a lot bigger. There's also the title attribute that you can set on elements, and this doesn't set the title of the page. This is different than the title tag itself. Like this is different. Did I show that here? Yeah, this is different than this title tag itself. This is an attribute. What we're talking about now is an attribute. What this does is it sets the tooltip for the element to be whatever you set the title attribute to be. So whenever you hover over the element with your mouse, the tooltip text that you set in the title will show up. So, for example, whenever we hover over the word cake, I want the title to be "I love cake so much," and then save, and then refresh. So here you can see that when I hover over apples, nothing happens. When I hover over oranges, nothing happens. When I hover over cake, you can see that a tooltip came up saying, "I love cake so much." So this is useful because you can display some, helpful text to the user in case anything that you do on your website is confusing. They can hover over it and they can see the help text that you have on there. And maybe I would, put this as an underlined text. So anyway, that is it for this video. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to get informed of whenever additional content comes out. All right, thanks. Have a good day. Bye.